Now we come to the most important, and most structured respiratory system, that is of the human beings, right? In fact, most of the mammals, when we say mammals, most of the mammals, animals which fall under mammals, would have this kind of respiratory system, a little bit here and there, but human beings have the most developed respiratory system because we need the maximum number of energy for respiration, right? Now, to start with, the first organ, which starts at the respiratory system is the nasal cavity. We will not call it a nose. We will not call nostril. We will call it a nasal cavity. Now, you're in junior classes, so you might not understand the relevance why we use nasal cavity, but basically there
Ma'am, I know.
Yeah, please explain.
Ma'am, because nose means only the nostrils and the external skin and the cartilage, but nasal cavity means like all the internal organs, like all the internal parts inside the nose, which includes an extension of the brain, and the hair and the ma'am, and also the pharynx, ma'am.
Okay, let me just tell you, as she correctly said, that nasal cavity is just when we, why do we need to explain the entire nasal cavity? The reason why is, each and everything that's there in the nasal cavity is important. For example, the nasal hair, it's important. Otherwise, lot of toxic dirt, small microscopic dirt will also enter our nose. Anyways, it enters, Okay. Now the second thing, these are all lines of defense mechanism. Soldier number one. Soldier number one is nasal hair. Soldier number two is mucus. What is mucus? Mucus is basically, the thick liquid like, semi-liquid like thing, which a few children are very fond of. They keep on digging their nose, and they take out mucus. So the act of digging the nose, what do they do? Basically all the dirt, that goes into the nose, which nostrils, kind of grab, it gets stuck with the mucus. So basically mucus is a friend of the human being. It helps trap the dirt, right? Just, I'm sure all of you must have observed. For example, if you go to, if you are out in the road, maybe for 2-3 hours, the road is very polluted, and you come back home to clean your nose, right? You will find your mucus is brown in color because your mucus has trapped a lot of those dirt, pollution, all those dirts.
Ma'am?
Yeah.
Ma'am, it also helps in the protection of the inner lining of the stomach, right?
That's a different mucus. This is a nasal mucus.
Ma'am, and there is mucus in the ears, in the trachea, and most of the organs, right?
Most of the organs will have they will have different names, they will have different function, but their primary function is to protect the organ. Most of the organ you will find, we can't touch our own organ, internal organs, but when you see a cut chicken or something, you will find it a little slippery and a little slimy. So that slimy, slippery thing is actually mucus, right? So now that all of you are mostly indoors, not going out, so you will have, when you have to clean your nose, you will see that your mucus is perfectly clean. Your mucus is clean, white, because there is no dirt. Your mucus, the nasal hair, mucus, everything is perfectly clean. But when you have to go out, especially when you're in the school, playing in the field, there's a lot of dirt, mud from the, ground coming up. So that also causes brown mucus. So that's the reason why they say when you come back home, you have to inhale as in, cup a little bit of water and, take it in through your nose and then take it out. So all the dirt will go out. Your mucus, your nasal cavity, everything will be clean. Just like the way we clean ourselves, our hands and legs, we should always clean the inner nasal cavity also. Or else some way or the other, The mucus will find its way inside. It will go into the lungs. We will have cough. You know, these are so small that we can't even see with our naked eyes. So at every level, at every front, there is a defense mechanism there to protect our organs. So we have the nasal cavity first. What happens? Air enters the nose through the nostrils and reaches the nasal cavity. Now, you know, I was also saying that we have nasal hair, we have mucus. You know, there's also something called the septum. This is the nose. For example, this is the nose. You know, so there is something called a septum which actually, you know, gives shape, which actually gives shape to your nose. It's kind of a division which is present in the nasal cavity. It is a little bit of a, I would not say bone, it is a little softer than a bone. It is made out of cartilages, right? You have two nostrils, one on the left, one on the right. So it actually divides the two nostrils, right? So that is a very thin septum which divides the two nostrils. Now we come to the larynx. What is a larynx? Right? The nasal cavity leads to the pharynx. From the pharynx, air passes into the rectangular chamber called larynx.
Ma'am, can I tell what is larynx?
Please do.
Ma'am, as far as I remember, larynx is also known as the voice box.
Mhm.
It consists of two muscular strands which vibrate when air passes from it. It helps us speak and make sounds.
Very good. Excellent. Most of it you have already covered. So basically what is larynx? You know, larynx, as they said, you know, is a rectangular chamber. You know, for example, okay, from the nose, it goes to the pharynx and then the larynx. Larynx is basically a rectangular chamber. So what all is there in this rectangular chamber? First of all, you know, as I said, remember, okay, ENT. Are we all familiar with this word ENT?
Yes, ma'am.
Please tell what is it?
Ears, nose, and throat.
And all three of them are linked together. Our ears are linked to our nose is linked to our throat. That's the reason why for this we have only one common doctor who is known as an ENT doctor. We will not go to a different doctor if we have a ear problem. We will not go to a different doctor if we have a nose or a throat problem. There will be only one doctor who will be seeing all the problems related to ear, nose and throat. Why? Because, you know, for example, our ears are here. There is an area which lies in common, which connects the nose, the ear and the throat. This is a three-way thing. They are connected. Try doing this example. Close your nose, you know, close your mouth, and then you will feel your ear, there would be mild, you know, vibrations happening. You know, because somewhere the neither the air is coming in nor going out. Right? So these are little experiments. When you stop your breath for a very long time and don't exhale from your nose or mouth, you can feel it that your nose, mouth and ears are related.
Ma'am, and the stomach also aches when we do that.
Actually, when we say stomach, it is basically the diaphragm. Right? Stomach is a little lower, diaphragm is a little upper. So yeah, because it is very close by to your lungs. When you're holding on to your air for a very long time, your lungs have reached the maximum expansion, and that is when it can't hold it anymore. And that is when the lungs are putting pressure on the diaphragm, and that's why your diaphragm pain aches basically. Right? Stomach is to do with digestion. If you're holding your hair, if you're holding the air and your stomach region, your abdominal region is paining, that means it is to do with the lungs, the respiratory system, the organs related with respiration, not with the digestion system. Okay, so as I was saying, the larynx is basically a rectangular box, right? As Priscilla also said, this is also known as the voice box because this controls our pitch. Somebody has a low pitch, somebody has a high pitch. You know, somebody talks in such a way, pitch, you know, bass of the voice. You know, somebody when they talk also slowly, it's very high. You know, the pitch there, that's known as a pitch. For example, if you have to sing a song, right? How will one sing a song? So the entire voice modulation, we call it as voice modulation. So the entire voice modulation happens here in the voice box. What is music? What is music? Music is basically increasing, medium, low, and then increasing, you know, something like this. Up, down, something like this is song. So increasing, decreasing of pitch, bass, yeah. So that is music. That is being, that kind of voice modulation is being done by the voice box. For example, we listen to a music, we want to do the same song, sing the same song. Our brain sends message to the nervous system, which sends signal to the voice box saying, now increase the pitch, now reduce the pitch, now take it to the maximum highest level that you know, now reduce it, you know. So this is how one sings a song. So all our organs work in synchronity. Our brain, our nerves, our voice box, our ear, our throat, right? Many times also nose, you know, there are some people who sing nasal, they have a nasal voice, right?
Ma'am,
So, yeah.
mostly my relatives say that I have a nasal voice. What does that mean?
See that, yeah, you don't have too much of a nasal voice, but
Ma'am,
yes,
like now
to
it's
an
online,
extent you
right?
will. Yeah.
Ma'am, once I checked like keeping two phones and talking, it comes very different.
To an extent, you do have a nasal voice. I agree. So when they say that you have a nasal voice, maybe, you know, it's when you're talking, you know, maybe, you know, your voice box, the pitch is such that, you know, somewhere it is hitting the chords in the, somewhere in the larynx, or maybe somewhere near the nose. That's why they say that you have a nasal voice. Right?
Ma'am,
Okay.
how do you know if someone's is a nasal voice or not?
You can hear it and say, for example, the way I'm talking now is a normal voice. Now if I say like that, okay, can you please come in? There's a difference, no? I'm stressing through my nose. Okay, Priscilla, can you please come in here? Did you understand the difference?
Yes, ma'am.
So that's nasal. Little bit of emphasis, you know, is given somewhere near the base of the nose. So that is how it becomes a nasal voice. Okay. So larynx is basically, you know, it controls, it's known as a voice box. It controls the voice. One very important thing that it does is that, remember in our last class we said that there is something in common between the digestive system and the respiratory system. That's the reason why they say when we eat food we should not talk, because by mistake the food might enter the lungs, the trachea. Not the lungs, but the trachea. So who controls it? The larynx control it. In case there is little bit of food which by mistake, you know, somebody was singing while eating, right? Voice box gets confused. Should I sing now, or what is it? You know, the person is eating, but why is he singing? So, you know, there is certain muscles, flaps, which are like, one second, kindly let me just complete this. Right? So basically, you know, there are certain folds, they are known as the vocal folds, you know. So through these vocal folds, voice comes out. So the brain gets confused. So the person is eating as well as singing. So singing, okay, so I'll make the vocal folds work. But eating, okay, let me send the food also till the larynx. Okay. Now, as soon as the food comes here, the voice box is intelligent enough to send the food back. Hello, this is not the food pipe. This is a wind pipe. So please take the food back. And that is when We cough. Remember, whenever by mistake water or food hits our windpipe, it's a very voluntary thing. We we cough it. So by coughing, it's an action by which the food comes out on its own. You don't have to do it consciously. The brain does it voluntarily. Our body is, synchronized. Our body is systemized in such a way that it happens by default. So this is one very important thing that our larynx does. Yes, yeah.
Ma'am?
Yeah.
Ma'am, you said that we get coughs like when the food accidentally enters our windpipe, right?
Correct.
So when we have like a fever, so we get cough and we sneeze. So when we cough, so does it happen?
No. That there are two different things that I'm talking about. One is coughing. What does coughing means? Coughing is the action. This is coughing, right? Unmana, what you're talking about is cough. What is cough? Cough is basically mucus. That is a thick mucus that you're talking about. That is different. I'm talking about coughing. Khasi. I'm talking about coughing matlab khasi. I'm not talking about that mucus cough. This cough happens when we get fever or when we get a respiratory infection. That is when we get this cough, mucus. Too much of mucus, too very thick mucus, because there has been a bacterial growth, there has been an infection. I'm talking about coughing out the food. Karke, you take out the food from the windpipe. I'm talking about that coughing. You can also call it, basically it is coughing, right? All right. Now getting back to the topic, trachea. The trachea or the windpipe is a delicate muscular tube situated in front of the neck, right? For example, what you can see, what you can feel, right, is actually, if you touch your neck in the front portion, you will find long tube-like structure, right? So that is basically a part of the trachea that you can touch. It is a little muscular, right? It has to be a little more deeper, only then you can feel it. It is 12 centimeter in length and 2.5 centimeter in diameter. The trachea divides into two bronchi, right? So basically what we have studied is this is the larynx. This is the larynx, right? From the larynx, this is the windpipe, right? So this windpipe is also known as the trachea. This is also known as the trachea. From here, it is getting bifurcated into two. Okay, this is almost 12 centimeter long. This is 12 centimeter long, and this thickness is 2.5 centimeter diameter. So these two are known as the bronchi. Right? Now let's study what happens after this. So basically oxygen is coming from here. From here it is going to these two bronchi. What happens then? Each bronchus. So if it is one, we will call it bronchus. If it is two, we will call it bronchi. Plural, singular and plural. Each bronchus leads to the lungs of its own. So that means they want to say that this is each bronchi will go to their own respective lungs, the left side and the right side. Each bronchus and branches into smaller tubes known as the bronchioles. So it will again branch inside the lungs. These are known as bronchioles. Little bronchi are known as bronchioles. They end in tiny globules called air sacs or alveoli, where exchange of gases take place. So basically each and every bronchiole will have tiny little air sacs. Remember the one that we studied in pigeons, in birds, right? Similar air sacs are present here, where actually the exchange of gases take place, right? Here basically all the oxygen that comes in, and then all the carbon dioxide, it converts to carbon dioxide, the waste, and then it goes out. So this is basically the air sacs, right? So when we have cough, they say lungs thoda whitish patch ho gaya hai. Matlab kya? all these bronchioles are filled with mucus. Cough, matlab unmana, the cough that you were talking about, the mucus. If it is filled with cough, how will you breathe air? The pipe has got stuck, no? That's the reason why we have to have a decongestant. What is a decongestant? What is a decongestant?
Ma'am, I think a tablet or something which frees all the mucus lining.
Yes, decongestant. Matlab D means taking out. Congestant. See, there is a lot of congestion. Doctor says no. He puts the stethoscope on your lungs and he asks you to breathe. Maximum inhale, maximum exhalation. Why? To check if there is congestion here or not. If there is these bronchioles are filled with mucus or not. If it is filled with mucus, that means you will have difficulty in breathing. Then the doctor will understand with the stethoscope. There will be noise like grrr. You know, the air will not be very smooth. When you breathe, there will be little noise. There will be little wheezing sound if there is mucus. But if your bronchioles are clear, like now, your bronchioles are clear. If you breathe in, breathe out, there will be no noise because it's totally clean. You're breathing in clean oxygen, you're exhaling clean carbon dioxide. It will be perfectly clean. Correct? So when there is mucus, you cannot breathe properly, neither can oxygen reach the air sacs, nor can the exchange of gases happen. That's the reason why you think all the cough is in your nose. But actually no. Nose is the way through which all the cough mucus comes out. From where? From the bronchioles. You're coughing. It comes from here and then it's coming out from your nose. At times you will find that cough is also coming out from your mouth because this is all connected. The more you clean your nose, doctors say na, clean your nose, very, very rigorously. So you're actually pulling out all the mucus from here to here and you're trying to keep your bronchioles clean. But nobody has the strength to pull out cough mucus from bronchioles till the nose. So in that case, we need a decongestant. That is a medicine, that is a chemical, as in chemical compound, which is formed in the form of cough syrup. What is a cough syrup? A cough syrup is a liquid which you inhale, as in you drink, eat it, consume it, and then it reaches the bronchioles. And what does it do? It will liquefy the mucus. Patla kar dega. It will liquefy the mucus and it will come out of your either nose or mouth or maybe, mix up with the blood and come out.